Welcome to Off the Chart with Sherri Bell. We have a special guest today. Cory Sparkle is here in Colorado filming. His company is Sparkle Films, the most amazing videography you've ever seen. And we were having, important conversations on the side. And as you know, one of my passions in life, I really had to decide if I wanted to bring children into this world. And which could be a topic right now for people based on the world, what's going on in the world. So I decided 8 years into marriage, after I heard Gandhi's "Be the change you wish to see in the world." So I'm like, okay, I'm passionate about brain development and accessing our genius. And so I decided to have a baby, to bring a child into this world. And I have a whole thing called generational blessings. But the most important thing that we were talking about is today, kids are on their digital screen all the time. It's a pacifier. And I do feel for parents. I feel for parents because they're very busy. Everyone's really just going full force. And it's just so easy to put the screen, in front of the child. But we're going to talk about the benefits of raising a child without the screen. And you have a personal story. My daughter now is 22, and so it's really interesting to hear your perspective. So if you could share your story, that's very inspiring for parents who maybe want to really not put their child in front of the screen all the time. I feel like your story will inspire them.
Amazing. Well, thanks for having me on the show, Sherri. I'm very excited to talk about this. So where do I start? While I don't have kids of my own, I am a great uncle to my niece, Raya. She is a beautiful 2-year-old girl. My sister and her husband decided to raise her with no screens. So up until probably in the last 3 months is when they first had shown her a screen, a phone, TV, etc., you name it. But the first, 16 months or so, no screens, no TV, nothing, just books. She would read, she would do coloring books, she would play games, she would do, I just got her a harmonica for music and she loves blowing into that. All these things have built up in her life to kind of make her more mindful. And in a way, I think it's made her smarter as opposed to just being a zombie looking at her screen. I see that she just zones out. She's not paying attention. But when she's in that present moment, I think it goes such a long way because now she knows the color, like every color, blue, green, red. I mean, you name it. She can name off any color. We'll go to the beach and then all of a sudden it's 5 o'clock and she says, sunset. I'm like, wow, you know all of this stuff so quickly for your age. And she knows my name. She knows all my mom, dad, sister. She's named all of her horses after us even.
Oh my gosh.
She has a horse named Cory and she showed it to me the other day. This is you. Just these little things have really added up. And even ballet class, they've got her started with ballet class now. You can tell out of all the 10 girls or so in the room that she is the most attentive. She pays attention. She actually takes instruction from the instructor. All these things she's done in ballet class have really shown her evolution and how fast she has progressed with all this.
This is such a beautiful story. So I'm hoping that parents and aunties and uncles, it's really creating a sacred environment and having intention from the beginning or right now, it doesn't matter what age a child is, slowly do a digital detox. But to hear the visual and effects that you're experiencing from witnessing this, I think is truly miraculous. And it's a testimonial to a specific style of parenting, which is just move the screen out of the picture.
Hey, the easy solution for parents when they're going through hard times, when they don't want to have to deal with their kid, just give them a phone. Let them play on the phone. it's the easy way to do it, especially if you're out at dinner with your kids. Your kids get all rowdy, give them a phone, they're going to be quiet. It's obvious that's the way to do it, but maybe it's not the way to do it. Maybe there's like a better way, and the less time they spend on the phone and the less they see that screen, I think the less they're going to be obligated to want to see it more. So it's just like anything else. We're creatures of our own habit.
We are. And there's a lot of scientific facts about how TV creates a trance-like response to our nervous system.
Right.
And it's how you described your niece. When she is in front of the screen, she goes into a trance. So really, we're talking about accessing, just being a steward as a parent, to allow our children's genius to unfold, because we all have a unique fingerprint, and I feel like every human being comes into this world with true unique gifts, and when we present a supportive environment to let that unfold, it is truly miraculous. Now, my daughter's 22 now, and you can tell by her art. She writes books, she writes music. That access to the right brain creativity, which also holds emotions, is very prevalent in who she is right now. And so she makes music, writes music, self-taught musician, and that to me it enriches life. Right? Because we love music, we love books, and we just love when people are present and when they can have intelligent conversations. There is a teacher on social media, and she got on her camera and she says, listen, she goes, I'm dealing with kids that can't even focus, that can't even give me attention when I'm teaching them the lessons. And I feel like that is the pinpoint of what you said about your niece and the benefit of raising a child in a genius environment. We'll just call it that. Do you have anything else to say about it?
Well,
Sit down, Rocky. This is Rocky. We do have a dog.
This is Rocky. Yeah,
on
he
site.
loves to steal the shows. You can tell. Yeah, he's always
If he
wants
could
to
talk.
be on camera.
Sit down, Rocky. He loves Cory.
I know. Want to come sit over here, Rocky? Come on. Come on.
So I'm just gonna talk about a few things that parents can do that I did. Number one, I listened to Glenn Doman. Okay, Glenn Doman coined baby brain development. And so they actually, I don't know if they still have support material, but it's all about, instead of all this fake character, colorful, stuff, he really teaches that kids' brains are palatable. You can imprint things. So imprint them with real life facts. So he's got cards okay, Rocky, sit down. He's got cards that teaches all the birds of the sky, right? And so that the child can go eagle, falcon, whatever, that their brain is so receptive that it increases their intelligence. And Lex Friedman or Feldman, one of his new podcasts is about intelligence and the importance of intelligence in our society. And I feel like we really need to break through with all of the digital environment that is superimposed on us, that is creating humans. There's just an alternative route, and this is it, to enhance creativity and to allow people to be their true human self.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the hammer with that spiel right there. I mean, I think we can all learn a little something from these devices and technology and all this stuff that we're given in front of our face on a daily basis, if you will. I think even for myself as a photographer, I'm always wanting to go out and shoot sunset, always want to be in the present moment, sometimes even during sunset. Whether, I'm shooting sunset with my camera, maybe I just want to put my camera down for a minute and actually just enjoy the present moment. I mean, that goes such a long way, and it's actually a pretty rewarding feeling.
It really is. Can I add to that? Because I love how you say that. So when I brought Jasmine into the world, I didn't want to tap into the commercial reality of Christmas and all the holidays, right? I researched the tradition behind each holiday, and it's fascinating. But just because we've turned every holiday into commercial, monetization opportunity, the essence and the heritage and the origins have been lost. But that's what's rich in the culture of how people have created their culture. So I started doing little things I wanted Jasmine to remember, and one of them is sunset gratitude. So I'm going to invite everybody out there, whenever they see a sunset, to have sunset gratitude. And number one, it's remembering, like you, to go see the sunset, right? So remember it, number one, and then, have that little thought in your mind like, oh, let's take this time to have a family or a couple or an individual sunset gratitude. So that's one of the traditions that I brought into our family that we still do today. So that's 24 years later. Yeah. So another thing is Cory. I've known him 11 years. Now he lives in Laguna Beach, California. We're here in Colorado right now. He shot Jasmine, my daughter's, music video when she was 12. She wrote a song and recorded it professionally with Joe Hogue. And Cory shot a music video. Jasmine actually wrote the whole script. She picked out her wardrobe. Can you just tell me a little bit about, your experience and just how maybe she was different than, I don't know, what you've seen?
Well, you're lucky I have a good memory because that was almost 10 years ago that we shot that music video. I do remember it pretty clearly. It was a great experience. At that time, I was actually shooting a lot of music videos, so I had opportunities to work with different artists. But I would say Jasmine, your daughter, was definitely different from the bunch. I mean, she was organic, to say the least. She kept it real. She didn't try to disguise herself in any way. She just wanted to show her true self, which a lot of these artists, they don't want to do. They want to be all bundled up in makeup, all this stuff. I think Jasmine was just more willing to put the cards on the table and show her lifestyle, who she is, no holding back. And I really respected her for her process, the way she wanted to go about producing that music video.
Yeah, so she had a mind of her own for sure. That music video got her accepted into the Orange County School of the Arts.
I remember.
And it was their number one, her audition video, which that it was included, was the number one watched video in the whole school, the whole high school. So it really impacted her life to show her creativity and her true, artistic expression.
Well, she was only 13 years old at the time we shot the music video. So just the fact somebody her age and that caliber is going about, not just acting in her music video, but producing and script writing it, doing all the pre-production stuff ahead of time. I mean, she had it all mapped out in her head.
Yeah, it was amazing to watch. And that was a proud moment. And, you can go on YouTube and find Who I Want to Be by Jasmine Ayana Eck. That was a great time. So I want to talk about a few things that a few tools that parents can do right now, and access to things that might not. So books. You mentioned that your niece reads books. So it's like, okay, what books do we give our kids, right? And I just want to share one of my favorite books because it's spiritual. I personally wanted Jasmine. I was intentional about how I wanted her to understand the world around her and, the spirit of the world around her and God. And I was youth and family minister at Unity Church on Maui. We did theater. I had kids do a fundraiser, so I taught them to tithe and to give. And we actually decided to raise money, which every Sunday the kids brought in either 25 cents or $1, but we raised $1,000 for the Nature Center in Hawaii on Maui in Iao Valley. And all the kids, we all got to go and give the $1,000 to the Nature Center specifically to promote and to sustain the Hawaiian state butterfly, to plant bushes that this butterfly needs to sustain itself. So there's so much to do with kids, but one of them is books. So I love, Christian books, spiritual books, whatever. Just give your kids books to read. This one is The Magic of Patience. It's Paramahansa Yogananda, one of their books, but it just gives them a framework of a story that they can relate to, and it teaches them simple virtues and values. And I feel like today it's really important to teach kids values and virtues, every day. This was Dreams to Grow On. Dr. Wayne Dyer has children's books, so check out Dr. Wayne Dyer's books. It's a beautiful thing. Another thing is, as far as your home environment, I always had blank sketchbooks. And that's why Jasmine's art is amazing, right? So my dad would always send color books with the lines in it. And so I always put those aside and gave them to Goodwill, and I put a blank sketchbook in front of Jasmine's, face or whatever. And so that has exponentialized her art into, and we're going to see that. All right, we're going to have clips of that.
Fantastic.
So another thing you can do is have kids make their own books, right? So from the art, then they can start to craft a story. And it's really interesting because this is Jasmine's best friend in Hawaii, McKenna, and she wrote a song called Fly. And then she turned it into a book, and she illustrated her own book. So this is just a fun project that any parent can do for their kids to increase creativity.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I love that.
Yeah, I'll add a little comment to that. I would say, as far as the books, there's a lot of options out there nowadays. There's even some books when we were kids that are still flowing these days, People still read them. Polar Express, for example, classic Christmas book. I just got that for my niece for Christmas, and she absolutely loves it. She reads it every day. It's just, one of those things. It shows how books are timeless.
So Jasmine made her Halloween costume herself. So you just go buy fabric and whatever. First off, you ask them the theme. I think life is all about themes, but Halloween is about a theme too. What character do you want to be? So Jasmine, her character is Mother Nature. And so she drew out her costume here with peacock feathers. And then we went to the fabric store together. And here she is, final version. Here she is making the costume herself. So what you need is a space to make the costume, and materials, and most important, a vision. And support from the parents, right? Because the parents help do that. I love that. She also wrote, another fun exercise is to draw and then write a poem reflecting the art that she drew. So that's fun. And then you can save it in a portfolio like this. So she wrote newsletter. Amazing. Just great little things that kids can do that will actually serve them and hone in their skills for their professional life later, right? Because my whole vision was to synergize life and work. And I wanted that for my daughter, to synergize both and have fun in life, right?
It's important.
Yeah. And this is another great one. Jasmine's first book. So this is part of Glenn Doman's teachings, but this is her first book that she actually read. So here's her at 2 in ballet, like your niece. And so then I taught her through pictures and through writing real big, I am a ballerina, but you can make this on cards. Okay, sit down, Rocky. Should we cut that or?
No, it's fine. We can just keep going.
Okay. So those are a few activities for that. And, she is self-taught on guitar, and she actually learned from YouTube. And this was 12 years ago. So there are there's so much knowledge out there that kids and parents can utilize and create their own school, basically, right?
They just have to ask themselves how much time and dedication do they want to spend making that happen for their kid. I think that's ultimately what it boils down to. People's schedules are so crazy nowadays. Work, business, priorities, you name it. Everyday life gets in the way. So it's like, how much time do they actually want to spend reading to their kids, or do they want to have somebody, a babysitter, for example, do all the work for them?
Right, and that's a great point. So and there are a lot of people who homeschool now.
Homeschooling is a big deal ever since 2020 when we had COVID.
Yes.
I know it's like we're kind of divided in that sense. It's kind of half and half. Parents feel pretty strongly about upbringing their kid at home, which, hey, I'm not opposed to it. I think if I was younger, maybe I would want to try it just to see if I liked it, But I get the social aspect they're missing out on. Some of my best friends who I'm still friends with today, I met them in elementary school.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there is a fine line to weigh out. I do. And I toyed with homeschooling Jasmine too. So it's like, if you have a babysitter, then have her have an outline of what we're going to do while mom and dad are away, or dad or mom or grandma or grandpa's away. Now, if your kids are in elementary school, I'm going to share, Jasmine grew up in Waldorf. Then I took care of my sister in St. Louis, who was dying. And I came back to Maui, and Jasmine went to a public school. It's called Haiku Elementary School. And so I became VP of the PTA in the first week. I recruited 2 more board members, but that's how passionate I am about kids, right? Because they're just amazing. So I brought the PTA Art Reflections National Program to Haiku Elementary School. So anybody out there, if your kids do go to public school, look it up. I'm sure they have it again this year after COVID. I don't know, but there's a theme every year, and that theme was Together We Can. So what I did is, and what you can do too, is bring that program. You're the chairperson, and you're going to make it happen. So, and I hope you all were inspired, and we want to hear from the parents and any other caregiver, guardian who has the, honor of influencing children. So, anything else you want to say, Cory?
Well, just want to say thanks for having me on your podcast. It's been interesting talking about this, because as we start talking about it more, it's actually a pretty important topic, and I think people really dance around it. So I hope this brings awareness to some of those parents and people out there to, really look into how they're raising their kids. Even though I don't have kids of my own, I can't necessarily speak for that matter. I'm just speaking upon what I've seen with my niece, who's a beautiful, fun-loving girl at 2 years old, who knows how to pick colors, watch a sunset, and she knows the names of everybody around her.
And she's emotionally engaging.
She's emotionally engaging, and she's just fun to be around. I literally can say with utmost confidence, I like hanging out with her.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And I just want to thank you for sharing the story, because it always means more coming from, someone else, right?
Absolutely.
So thank you for listening and watching. This is our first video. Hi, we just finished our podcast for kids and creativity, and we both took a break, and I was inspired. And I want to say, these are all over my house, but the law of inspired action means that you might have other plans, but always go with the law of inspired action. And that is to come back up here. I had an aha moment, thanks to Cory, and I realized what I had been looking for in my genius revolution is I was looking for my genius for 30 years. Can you imagine every day for 30 years, you are intentionally discovering your unique divine blueprint, your genius. We all have one fingerprint, right? No one has the same fingerprint as us. So I've been on this quest. And so today, Cory was talking about his videography. He's been doing that since he was little. Part of discovering your authentic self is to go back and ask what you did during childhood naturally. So I'm in my car taking Rocky out. I have this aha moment, production. I am a creator and director of production. And so like this whole podcast, right, is a production, the scene, everything. And so it brought me back to the memory of when my sister and I did basement performances. So so I pulled out some things here. What we did, we wrote our script. First off, we came up with our own title. It's 1979. That's the program we made. And we wrote our own script. So look, right here is some of the script. Songs, costumes, posters. We did marketing. Scene 1, Song to Silver Bells. Walk through the street, look at the windows, buy coloring book. In the background, we created our own backdrops. We drew them out, so it was on that big roller paper. So we had window scenes from shopping. We created our own music playlist, and we included our dogs. And we chose costumes from our dance productions, right? So production is kind of something I've always done. So then we fast forward up to Golden Girl, dance team in college. Okay, so Golden Girls, we performed with the band in front of 80,000 people. So I was the captain, and I worked with Norm Rubling, the band director, and we created a production together in front of 80,000 people. So this is my jam, and it's, creating the overall theme and costumes and music, and we went on to win. The Golden Girl was a 30-year organization. We went on to win place in the championships and had a national championship title for the first time in their 30-year history. And they went on to win national championship the next year with similar, dance and performance. So that is that. As far as home goes, this is just another production. So it's a production, right? Camp Eck. This is Jasmine's family, and they have 9 kids and 30 grandkids. And we brought Camp Eck, a production, brought the family together for the first time in that way. We played games, and we danced, see the grandparents dancing with the kids, and it was just a special, unforgettable time. And they continued it every summer. Camp Eck. So anyway, that I have a lot more production stories, but I will save you. We can listen another time. But going back to genius, how we actually, when we collaborate and create together, we amplify everyone's genius and everyone's potential to put on the best production, whether it's your business, your personal life, a family as a production. I mean, it's a huge production, a relationship, just, everything. So that's my aha moment, my full circle moment for today. So thanks for listening, and subscribe to our podcast and subscribe to our YouTube.